Have you ever felt like you've been pushed into a decision you weren't entirely sure about, or agreed to something, only to later wonder, why did I do that? You're not alone. Our world is a complex web of influence, a constant, subtle dance between what we want and what others want from us. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden forces of manipulation and influence, pulling back the curtain on the psychological strings that often guide our thoughts and actions without us even realizing it. This isn't about paranoia. It's about empowerment. By understanding these mechanisms, we can reclaim our autonomy and make choices that are truly our own. Let's start with a foundational concept from social psychology, the principle of reciprocity. On the surface, it's simple and positive. If someone does something nice for you, you feel an innate urge to do something nice in return. It's the glue that helps bond societies. But in the hands of a manipulator, this beautiful human instinct can be weaponized. Think about it. A small, unsolicited gift, a seemingly innocent favor. Suddenly, you feel indebted. When a much larger request comes later, that feeling of obligation makes it incredibly difficult to say no. It's not the conscious transaction. It's a deep-seated psychological trigger. The key is to recognize when a gift isn't just a gift, but a down payment on a future obligation you never agreed to. Next up is the foot-in-the-door technique. This is a classic, and it's shockingly effective. It starts with a small, easy-to-accept request. Could you just sign this petition? Once you've agreed to that tiny step, you've subtly altered yourself. You now see yourself as someone who supports this cause. So, when the next, larger request comes along, would you like to make a donation? Or can you volunteer this weekend? You're psychologically primed to say yes. To refuse would create cognitive dissonance, a conflict between your actions and your new self. It's a slow burn manipulation that builds commitment one tiny yes at a time, making the final big ask feel like a natural progression rather than a huge leap. But what about the pressure we feel from those around us? This is the power of social proof. The idea that if everyone else is doing it, it must be the right thing to do. We are social creatures, wired to conform. We look to others for cues on how to behave, especially in uncertain situations. Online reviews, trending topics, laugh tracks on TV shows, they all leverage social proof. Manipulators create the illusion of a consensus. They might use fake testimonials or amplify a few select opinions to make it seem like a movement. This preys on our fear of being left out, of being the odd one out. The question we must ask ourselves is, am I agreeing because I truly believe this, or because I feel the pressure of the crowd? Another powerful tool is scarcity. Limited time offer, only 3 left in stock. Exclusive deal just for you. These phrases trigger a primal fear of missing out, what we now call FOMO. When something is perceived as rare or dwindling, its value in our minds skyrockets. We stop thinking logically about whether we actually need or want the item and start acting impulsively based on the fear of loss. Our critical thinking gets short-circuited by a manufactured sense of urgency. A skilled manipulator knows that a mind in a panic is a mind that is easy to influence. They create a problem scarcitiant, then conveniently offer you the only solution. Then there's the influence of authority. We are taught from a young age to respect and obey authority figures. Parents, teachers, experts. This is generally a good thing. It helps maintain social order. However, this deference can be exploited. Titles, uniforms, and credentials can create a halo of credibility that makes us less likely to question what we re being told. The famous Milgram experiment showed how far people would go, inflicting what they believed was real pain on others, simply because a person in a lab coat told them to. True authority is earned through expertise and integrity. Manipulative authority is merely a costume designed to bypass your critical judgment and secure your compliance without question. So, how do we build a defense against these hidden forces? First and most crucial step is awareness. Simply knowing these techniques exist is half the battle. When you feel that twinge of obligation, that pressure to conform, or that rush of urgency, pause. Take a breath. This pause is your greatest weapon. It creates a space between the stimulus and your response, allowing your rational mind to catch up with your emotional instincts. Ask yourself, what is really being asked of me? What are my own needs and values in this situation? Secondly, learn to embrace the discomfort of saying no. We are often conditioned to be agreeable to avoid conflict. But setting boundaries is not an act of aggression. It's an act of self-respect. You are not obligated to explain or justify your no. A simple thank you, but I'm not interested, or I'll need to think about that, is a complete and valid response. Reclaiming your right to refuse is a fundamental step in reclaiming your autonomy. Your time, energy, and resources are yours to give, not for others to take through psychological leverage. Third, cultivate your sense of self. The stronger your internal compass, your values, your principles, your goals, the less you can be swayed by external pressures. When you know who you are and what you stand for, the illusion of social proof loses its power. You no longer need the crowd's approval because you have your own. This isn't about being rigid or closed-minded. It is about having a foundation so solid that you can evaluate new information and requests against your own core beliefs, rather than being swept away by the current. Finally, question everything. Don't take things at face value, especially when something feels off. Who is this person? What might be their motive? Is there evidence to support their claims? Cultivating a healthy skepticism doesn't mean becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone. It means engaging your critical thinking skills as a default setting. It's about being an active participant in your life, not a passive recipient of influence. Your mind is your sanctuary. Be the vigilant gatekeeper who decides what is allowed to enter. Understanding manipulation isn't about seeing villains around every corner. It's about recognizing the subtle psychology at play in our daily lives, in advertising, in politics, in our personal relationships. By seeing these hidden forces for what they are, we can navigate our world with greater wisdom, clarity, and freedom. We can build more genuine connections and make choices that lead to a life of our own design, not one designed for us. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the mind. If this exploration resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more journeys into psychology, philosophy, and the soul. Stay curious, stay aware, and stay true to yourself.